now I'm going to transition into the VIP, which I'm very excited to welcome all of you in today. So we're going to keep it rolling. And whether you're on Facebook in the Zoom or you're on the replay, welcome. So I want to introduce my beautiful daughter, Karisma Collins. She is all things artistic. She, in everything she does, she embraces as an artist. And God showed me years ago when we were deciding to come to Hollywood or not, and she wasn't ready to go. I was reading a book and God downloaded to me. It was a moment where I just wept. Karisma is an artist. She sees with an artist's eyes. And she sees that even in relationships and in helping others develop their identity and confidence and style. I've watched her have an influence in friends that it's changed their lives. Literally, I've watched them step into their own role and place with confidence, and it just blows me away. She is a singer, songwriter, dancer, actor, model, social media influencer. She has a passion for fashion and travel. She created her own line with her brother and his girlfriend Ifina, which is sustainable, and she really has a heart for sustainability and organic, like eating vegetarian, and she that's hers to share. But she's worked with top brands like Pepsi, Kohl's, hotels, travel companies. She performed on online on a video that reached 1.5 million views. And she has an empowering influence and mentorship for young women, but not only young women, also for her mama, for her dad, for her siblings. She's the youngest of the oldest 4 of our children. And many times as I was going through my grieving years, she would step in, like decorating the Christmas tree, the first Christmas, like just powerful, an empowering young woman for her age. She's now acting in the Riverdale series in background, and she just got married just over a week ago on April 28th. Woot, woot, and she's stepping in here like 2 days after coming back from her honeymoon. Her and her husband Vitaly, which we love and embrace, are launching a Snapchat show, a series called What If We Can? So keep your eyes open for that. And Karisma is really good at sharing information to help you process and develop and bring things together. She helps with content creation and social media strategy. And I've watched her be on a live on TikTok, and I don't know, like tens of thousands, like they just all on at one time live, like Karisma's on. And there was a time when TikTok would do these lives. It was a special thing, and Karisma would be on there for a few hours, and she would have all these young people just receiving from her and impacting their life. And Karisma, just before I bring you on, and you guys can bring her on a spotlight, I guess, because I'm introducing her, so we probably should spotlight her. I just realized. Can we spotlight both? Yeah, there we go. Sorry, Karisma, welcome. I'm like talking about you so much. Welcome. I'd love to see your beautiful face. I just wanted to share this one last part, is something that impacted me so deeply at your wedding this last week. Was one of your friends who you knew in Hollywood. She came to Jesus through her relationship with you, with our family. But not only that, she went to Bible college. I heard her bless you with words and heart that of a new woman. And she tells me on your wedding day in the morning that her whole family has come to Jesus. And I just want to honor you. for stepping in and being loyal, because something I saw with you, Karisma, was you being loyal to your friendships. Like, I'm like, how can somebody spend so much time with one person, every day, all day, and it showed at your wedding. Who was in your wedding party? She had masses of girls, because you love so big. So I want to introduce Karisma Collins, who is 22 years old and a powerhouse for God, a powerhouse for community, and a powerhouse for nations coming up. And I'm excited to bring you on and chat and share with you today what God is doing in your life and how you can give your message to others to help these moms and their children as they venture out into Hollywood and industry. You're still muted, but I know
I was trying to unmute myself, but you had to approve it. Thank you, Mom. That's so sweet of you. I found myself just kind of feeling like tearing up there. That was like so nice hearing all of that. I feel like when you summarize it all together, I feel like it makes me sound so awesome. So
you are awesome.
I appreciate it. And I'm very excited to be here. This is really amazing. I honestly, I think it's so fitting and amazing that you're doing this, because I mean, I'm sure with the other kids who've come on, like it's clear that, our mom is amazing and she's really blessed us. And a huge reason why we are who we are today. I mean, I always say it, like sometimes people are like, oh, like you're so awesome and your family. I'm like, well, my parents, like they really did a good job. So been very blessed by you, and I owe a lot to you. So
thank you. So I don't even know where to begin, because I had some questions here, but why don't you start by sharing, when I asked you to come talk about confidence, did anything come to you that you wanted to share? And then I can ask you some questions after that, I believe.
Yeah, man, it's such a good topic, I think, for me, very close to my heart, because I remember when I was 12, 11, being the youngest and being a younger sister, I had so many insecurities. I remember just feeling like, I remember coming up to you guys and being like, oh, I'm the ugly duckling of the family, or like I'm the one that like isn't gonna get an opportunity. All my siblings are so talented and successful, and watching this and being like, well, where do I fit? And I remember just like sitting there and really desiring confidence. And it's interesting because we talk about confidence as a feeling, but I really feel like confidence is not just a feeling. It's a mindset, it's action, and it's also understanding it's a tool that you can use, So I remember at 12 years old, literally going and studying confidence. Like, how can I believe in myself? Like, I really desired this confidence, not only in how I look, but who I am. And I remember just kind of like wanting to look into it, like researching people who were confident and how did they get there. And I feel like confidence is a journey, and it's been really beautiful because in my life, I've actually had to take certain action steps to really be as confident as I am today, because I do truly love myself, and not in a conceited way, but in a way of that I've learned to love those flaws about myself and those things about myself that I didn't originally. And I don't think we're born confident. I think we all have insecurities, and we will always battle certain insecurities throughout our lives. And I think just the journey that I've been through with being in LA, growing up as a kid there, and finding a lot of my value in what I look like, a lot of my value in what I have, my followers, whatever it is, like not real things. And so I've had to learn to find confidence in the right areas, and it's been a really beautiful journey for me. And I feel like it's still a journey in certain areas, and I love going on it, because I feel like the more you love yourself, the more you can really love other people. I have a lot I can share, so I think I'm excited for your questions, but I think just the fact that this is a very topic that's very close to my heart, and I really always want to see other people step out in confidence. It's something I'm very passionate about. I love when my friends step into knowing how amazing they are, because I see it, I'm always seeing the beauty and potential in people, and I want to just like pull it out of them. So it's something I'm very passionate and excited to talk about with
Wow.
you. Yeah.
That's awesome. And I saw it on your wedding day, how you really embraced each person and made them feel like they were the most important person to be there. That meant so much. One of the things that came to me this week as I was thinking about you sharing about confidence is uh, I saw you as a teenager. We're in Hollywood. I mean, number one, she learned how to drive on the freeway, 101 freeway, as a teenager at 16. My daughter was flying down 101 and learning how to drive. Let's just say learning how to drive. So there was confidence in her to do this. And another time she came to me, she has confidence to say, Mom, I just want to let you know I'm going to do this. So she come to me, Mom, I'm just going to let you know I'm going to do the skydiving thing, and I'm going to be staying with the team. And I mean, seriously, I was like, what? But she has a way of preparing me very quickly, this is what I'm going to do. So there is a confidence since you were really young that I've always admired in you. It's a strength in you that encourages others and inspires others. But something that really impacted me, one of the things was you had friends in Hollywood that you loved dearly. And you had to say, I have to step back and find myself. Now that it blew me away. I don't think I could have done what you did at that season. And now they are your friends. Now, um, can you describe how you made that decision, or is that too?
Yeah, no, absolutely. I actually had a moment with God. I think it's interesting, but in the area of relationships, it's something that I really try to leave a lot of room for with him. And I feel like I had a moment where I started to feel like these relationships are really not healthy for me. I started to kind of lose myself and lose, who I am, and really what I want, my boundaries, my values in life, because when you start to spend a lot of time around a specific circle or environment, it's human nature to be affected by it. Even if you're a very strong person, you can only really, handle it for so long without really falling into being a way that you wouldn't really want to be. So like I loved the people I was around. I loved hanging out with them. So fun. So like I literally seeing them all the time. Like they were my people, And I just had this well, it was over a disperse of kind of like a year and a half, but I really felt like God was calling me to let go of these relationships because they weren't good for either one of us. Because there's a moment where you become codependent with people and you're sucking from each other. And you love them, so you want to stay around them, but I became acutely aware of it and realizing that like this is not good for me. And it was one of the hardest, most painful things I ever did. More than any guy telling me he didn't like me or any situation, whatever like that. Having a friend that you love and having to say, like, you've known them for years, having to say, sorry, like, this is not good for either one of us. It's very difficult. But I think I made that decision because I really felt like God was telling me to. And I think it gave me a lot of strength to do so. The funny thing is that my intention was not, oh my gosh, these people hurt me, let me cut them off. My intention was, we both need this for our health. I care about you so much that I cannot continue this friendship because it is going to hurt us both. And I had a few friendships like this because I don't know, I guess I just like to be codependent with people. Like, hey, like let's all just, I don't know, like spend 24/7 with each other, right? So and the crazy thing is after breaking off those relationships, I did go through a long period of the grief, like losing that. I spent a lot of time alone. I think ultimately, which helped me. But now me and those people are friends again in a very beautiful, healthy way. Because I was able to say, this is unhealthy for us. But then once I healed and they healed, I reapproached the friendship and said, I really, really love you in my life, but I want you in my life in a healthier way. And I think that that sometimes we feel like it's all or nothing. but sometimes it is, like you're saying, having the confidence to say, okay, I love you enough and I love me enough to say that this is not good. It's not a good situation. It doesn't feel like love, but it is. And now we're more closer than ever. So
That is so beautiful. And just watching that journey has blown me away. There was something that Christian shared yesterday as well. Um, like in the letting go, we had all these accolades, everything's happening, the flow, blah, everything's happening. And God speaks to you. Tell us about that.
yeah, you really got me there. That's very, very applicable for my life. I'm just gonna answer this person's question really quick. How old was I when I did that? I think I was 18, 17, 18, around there. 17. So this is actually very interesting because there was a moment where I got everything I wanted in LA. Everything I prayed for as a kid. It's pretty crazy. I was like, just like sitting there with everything I wanted. I was getting like free clothes shipped to me every day, makeup, getting invited to events, like meeting like celebrities. Had all these friends, got to do whatever I want with my time. I'm just
Your
doing
car.
media. I have my dream car. I was just having a great time. And but internally, I think I really was missing a sense of purpose and fulfillment. And I feel like it's a lot of times when you have exactly what you think you want that God calls you to to let it go or to move into something else. And my journey is a little interesting because I still do love Hollywood. I love acting. I love music. I love all those things. But I really, God told me to take a break and step away. And it was, again, very painful and very uncomfortable. But I'm so grateful I did it. I ended up going and traveling the world and going to YWAM, going to Bible school, learning more about God. And the big reason why I wanted to do that was because I wanted to really understand, what do I believe and why do I believe it? Because I think, speaking on confidence, there is a huge sense of confidence when you really dig deep in yourself and you really dig deep into what it is that you believe in, so that when people ask you, you know, like, I know why I'm standing on this, not because someone told me, not because whatever, because I've decided to take a step to go and dive deeper, into it. And so I think, there's been many moments where God has been like, hey, Karisma, go do this. And it was very uncomfortable. And in the moment I hated it. But I think that those are some of the best moments of my life, because now I look back and I think I've grown a lot from them. So.
Wow. And just watching you rise up, I'm inspired as a mom. Are you guys inspired as moms? Like, this is why I'm doing this challenge, is to share my children with you, and to share my mothering journey, to encourage you, inspire you. Karisma and I, we don't have it all together for sure, but there's strengths that, we can share, that God has walked us through. And Karisma, another thing that I watched you journey through is you chose not, there were moments that you felt yourself attracted to, and you would ask me, Mom, please pray. I know this is not the person, I like it, you would say, I don't know why, I have a feeling, but please pray. I was like, this isn't interest. I've never had calls like this, but she knew somewhere inside, that wasn't for you. That relationship wasn't for you. And so just touch on that, because I think this can help moms, even with their children, their daughters, their sons. You had confidence not to date, and even to stand up in this way, and share a little bit about that, like just meeting Vitaly, like what the process.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Honestly, I feel like this is one of the most proudest things I have. How do you even say that? One of the things I'm most proud of in my entire life. I feel like I could probably get emotional about it. I mean, honestly, I found the love of my life. Like, seriously, like, exactly what I want. He's not perfect. I'm not perfect, and that's life. But I think what's crazy is there's so many times where I was just, when you're young, you're like, oh, great, like love, there's all these movies and shows, and it's like, oh my gosh, your life's gonna be better if you have a boyfriend, or if you have this, or, I think one of the things that really helped me too is the mindset that you guys gave me. I always grew up with this kind of understanding that my value should never come from a significant other, but that my value should come from me, and that it should be an interdependent relationship. I bring value, they bring value, and I want to make sure that that person is going in the same trajectory as me, because the amount of times that I've seen relationships stop people's growth, people's passions, people's joy, because they picked the wrong person, because they compromised. And I think for me, I don't really know exactly where this confidence was developed, but again, confidence is a muscle and you build it. It's not something that you just get one day. You build that confidence. And I think there were many moments where I could have just compromised and thought, well, this person, I like them, they're attractive, maybe they have qualities that I like, but are we going on the same trajectory? And we were not. And I think one thing I would say for mothers, this is a very touchy subject, because when you're dealing with the heart, you can't just tell your child to not be with someone, or like, it's not like that, to just be like, don't do this, because it's your heart, and the human heart is not practical. It's hard to understand, someone else's feelings. But I think like really praying for your daughter or son to have a significant other that will push them towards their heart and their dreams, but not only that, will actually be aligned with them. Because I don't know who said this, but I mean, many people, but it's a quote out there that, one of the biggest factors of a man or woman's success is the person they marry. And it's actually interesting because there was this guy I was watching, and he interviewed these billionaires, and every single one of them that he interviewed, that he said, what's the secret to your success? And they were like, well, my wife. They're like, my wife supports me in what I do. And if she didn't, it would be very hard to do what I do. It'd be very hard, because I would have someone bringing me down. And it's crazy because you don't think about that. And so I think I got to watch people in their relationships, and being the youngest, to see, okay, like, that's maybe not what I want in my relationship. Now, my relationship will not be perfect, and I'm not saying it is, and I'm a newly married woman, so there's gonna be all types of little bumps and curves, and that's life. No one's perfect, and I clearly obviously understand that. But one thing I do know is that me and Vitaly are completely aligned in our vision and our purpose in life. We want to impact the world in the same way, and I think that is something that I'm sure every mother wants for their child. And I would really say to pray into it, because you can't tell your child not to date someone. It's very difficult. They're not going to like it. They're going to fight you, but you can tell them your opinion. I mean, you shouldn't. I mean, obviously with my mom, there was moments where there was a guy that I was thinking, oh, maybe I will, and then we had to have a conversation about that, and I always appreciated her perspective. And so it's always just kind of like sharing in love, in those areas. But it's a huge deal. It's one of the biggest things in life you ever decide to do. So
And it affects everyone around you. Like, it's
yeah,
not just, and yet we as moms cannot say, I've learned and grown through other relationships in our family, which I caused pain and I didn't understand. But you came to me and you helped me with something because you defined it. That's where your confidence, comes into. You said, Mom, you can talk to me about what somebody is doing, but if you cut down any of my friends or anyone important to me, I cannot accept that. And that was huge for me. It was painful for me as a mom, but you gave me truth, and you had confidence, as a teenager, to say this to me, like to literally come to me and say, Mom, you can't be cutting people I love down. And this is very significant for moms. Because we're all going to want to defend someone we love. It hit me, and it helped me in other areas, other relationships, being more careful with my tongue. So thank you, Karisma, because everyone has some good in them.
Yeah.
And if we focus on all the negative, we can't love them. So you had confidence and trust to come and share that with me to help me.
Mm.
And I think something to highlight here for moms is allow your children to have a voice. I think that is so important. And I didn't know it when my children were younger. And you can see the results in the pain that was caused. And I wrote down last night, Karisma, I see you, I hear you, I believe in you, I support you, I celebrate you. And that's how I feel I want to be as a mom. And I'm still growing and learning in. And that's what you are now, growing and learning as a woman, married. And you say that to your husband, I see you, I hear you, I believe in you, I support you, I celebrate you. That's a beautiful thing. Now tell me, there's so much, like, man, time goes by so fast, but
I know, flying by.
tell us how it was when there were all four of you going into a meeting and the different diversities of each person. How did you maneuver through to embrace confidence in those situations?
I feel like what's funny is in those moments, I never felt confident. I didn't. I was just there. I just showed up. And I think sometimes in life, that's what it is. You just show up and you feel scared and you feel uncomfortable. There were so many times I showed up in meetings. I showed up to interviews and I hated it. I felt so awkward. I felt like, what am I going to say? But I did it. And then my confidence built from there because I showed up. And I think when you're a youngest sibling, and I'm sure with all parents, your kids are all different, and you realize that. I think for me, there was actually important conversations I needed to have with other people, but important conversations I need to have with myself. My self-talk when I go into those environments is very important. Because naturally, as a youngest or as a sibling, you're going to compare yourself to your siblings, especially if you have kids who, like several kids who are going for this arena. It's very important that you let them know how they're individually wonderful and they're individually amazing. And that's what I had to do, is remind myself I'm individually wonderful. I'm individually, this is what I bring. But that was not easy for me at all. Like, never was. And still to this day, it's actually something that will come up for me and I have to catch it, because it'll come up and I'll be like, that insecurity of, being around your siblings and having all this stuff, being honest with myself about it and catching it and just watching myself talk. Like, I'm not going to build it, and it's very important that the words that we feed ourselves and the words that are fed into us really affect us. And I loved what you said about, I see you, I believe in you, Mom. Like, there were many times where I felt like I really didn't believe in myself, and you spoke into me. And it might not seem like a life-changing moment, but there were many of those life-changing moments. The words that you spoke to me, you always told me that I could really be and pursue whatever I want in life, and not just for any reason, but because you saw the beauty in who I am. And those things have genuinely affected my entire life. Like, I wouldn't be the same person. So it's like holding on to those statements that someone said about you, the good things, and relaying them in your mind in those moments. And that's what I've had to do and still have to do when I go into situations that make me very uncomfortable and I don't feel good about or confident about, but it's the action before the feeling many times. And so I would say that about those situations is just showing up.
Wow. And you helped me to see, you voiced to me, so you helped me to see, to say to people when we went in a room, listen, there are 4 in this room. I want everyone to have a voice. I started to do that because of you sharing and saying to me, Mom, like, we aren't seen, like you made it clear to me, you had confidence. So I honor you in that as well, Karisma. Can you touch on, it's almost time to close. Can you touch on what you shared with me about writing a celebration letter? And then
Yeah.
would you be open to closing in prayer for us too? And after that, thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. This is something that I did actually when I was on my YWAM trip. Because you have to have a lot of courage because you go to pray for people. It can be awkward sometimes trying to go up and approach a random person. They don't know who you are. They might not even speak your language. So it was awkward. So I was feeling like I'm not a courageous person. And this lie is going through my mind. And so I just sat there and I wrote all the ways that I've been courageous. I said, "Dear Karisma, you were courageous when you did this, when you did this, and when you did this." And I celebrated myself. And after reading that letter, I felt so good because I am courageous, but I forgot. And so I think sometimes we forget how amazing we are, and it can be easy too. So it's a really fun exercise. Oh, sorry. Fun exercise to do with your family or your friends, and just like get them to celebrate themselves. For your kids in particular, remind them how amazing they are, and remind you how amazing you are, because we just forget. We're so forgetful. Like the most amazing thing in the world could happen and we'll just be like, my life sucks right now, and that person will be like, well, what about this? And you're like, okay, well, maybe my life doesn't suck that much. Because you just forget. So this is a beautiful way to bring the amazing things about you to the forefront. So if it's about confidence, the ways you've been confident, if it's about courage, the ways you've been courageous, finding something that you're really feeling like maybe you're lacking in, that you got to remind yourself. So yeah.
Wow. Thank you, Karisma. I celebrate you. It's just, this is like my baby for 19 years, and I've enjoyed so many moments of her being at home alone with dad and I, in her teenage years, and developed such a closeness. And, she's my friend, not just my daughter. And I want that for you moms with your children. And Karisma, could we just close in prayer to pray a blessing? Because some relationships with mothers and daughters have been hurt, broken, estranged, and to pray for the anointing that God has given for us to be released for these moms and their children.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you.
Yeah, dear God, I'm so grateful for every single one of the moms in here, for their hearts to push closer to you and to their children. I just pray that their desire would be fulfilled, that they would be able to be a support, a light, a love, and a friend to their children. I pray for any daughter-mother relationships, God, that have been severed, that have been hurt, that you would just heal them. I pray that whether it's an immediate healing or healing over time, God, that there would be healing. And I pray that you would give these moms strategy and tools to know how to best approach their daughters and their children when it comes to them pursuing their passions, but when it first and foremost comes to them and their relationship. And I thank you so much for the gift that you've given me and my mom. And I do believe that it's so possible for every single mother-daughter relationship, mother-son relationship, parents and their children. And I just really pray for that blessing over everybody here. And I pray for a confidence for them to step out and show love, even when it's hard, even when it's uncomfortable, even when it's painful, because, taking that action is what's going to build that relationship. So I just pray that you would give them the confidence to be the moms they want to be, and to be the moms that that they're meant to. And thank you so much, Jesus, for every single one of them. Amen.
Amen. We celebrate you, Mom. Celebrate yourself. Thank you, Karisma. I love you, and have an amazing day. I can't wait to see you next. And thank
I love you.
thank you all for coming today and joining in and catching the replay. And let's do this together, guys. Let's build families. Let's touch the world with who we are and what we bring and what God has put on our destiny. God bless.
Thank you.
Bye.